Hey, this is Matt once again. What about you in the videos of the paid requests this time from Broad Stipe? Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, pretty much anything, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. And I also have a set to YouTube channel in case anything else happens. I also have these videos on Odysee, that website, bit of a backup. But yeah, if you want to request pretty much any type, PayPal, Patreon, both links are down below in the info box. I kind of repeat myself on that to get away from talking about the hide and seek. Yeah, hide my middle finger in your urethra. There's this movie you can stick it in. I always hated this movie ever since I first saw it. I think I did first see it back in the day, Hide and Seek from 2005, starring Robert De Niro and Dakota Fanning. I know there's actually a lot of people who like the film. If you do, teach their own. I think the movie is quite boring. It's also very manipulative, and at times it's predictable as all hell. And you don't tell me this is the ending, really? Is this really what we're gonna do? I swear there was a trailer or maybe a TV spot. I swear there was a TV spot that gave the ending away. I could be wrong, but I swear there's marketed material. It might have been TV spots that, like, did they give the ending away? But especially when you mark it as a twist you'll never see coming. I'm like, well, I already know what the twist is now. How do I spoil it? Okay, spoilers. Well, actually, okay, let me put it this way. If you've seen Secret Window, which came out before this and it's based on a Stephen King story, you know what this ending is. If you've seen a lot of these type of movies, you know what this ending is. Now, Robert De Niro is a psychiatrist, or a therapist. He's a therapist. He finds his wife dead in the bathtub. He has a daughter played by Dakota Fanning. And Dakota Fanning's a good child actress. I thought she did a good job in The War of the Worlds, the Steven Spielberg movie. Man on Fire with Denzel Washington. I think she was a talented. I haven't seen much of her adult acting, as in, I know she was in the Twilight films. She was in a bit in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so I did see that. But her as an adult, her acting, I haven't seen as much of. But good child actress. And she's not the problem in this. For what she's given to do, I think she's doing the best she can with what she's given to do. So that is a plus for the movie. But because of the death of her mom, she's obviously very affected by it. And so Robert De Niro has the brilliant idea to take her away from the safe facility where his assistant, played by Famke Johnson, which she was Jean Grey in the first couple X-Men movies. She was in this very criminally underrated creature feature film called Deep Rising. She was in the House on Haunted Hill remake from 1999. Even though she is her daughter's friend, and seems like she's safer here, not going to take her to the middle of nowhere, to a cabin or house, whatever, a cabin, whatever the fuck. It's always got to be in the middle of nowhere so that you can't find help. And when they get there, not too long after, Dakota Fanning's character has an imaginary friend called Charlie. And the movie goes at such a snail pace after that. Especially when very early on you can predict what the hell the ending is. Number one, because who they cast. And number two, because, I mean, maybe some people would think it was the most obvious, but at the same time, it's like, what would be really, what the fuck? Spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. Robert De Niro is the imaginary friend Charlie. Oh, Robert De Niro is playing a psycho? That should be the thumbnail. People are like, you really like this movie. I should do that and see how many people comment saying, how come you like the movie? So if you got this far, if I remember, if you see someone in the comments, feel free to. You sure you watched the video? I don't know. I'll probably forget that. But ooh, Robert De Niro plays a psycho. I've never seen that before. Whether it be as the anti-hero, whatever you want to call him, in Taxi Driver, whether it be in Cape Fear, come on, wherever you are. Whether it be, I mean, Godsend around this time, he was a villain. The Fan from 1996, Tony Scott film. Most of the time when Robert De Niro was cast, he was going to be a fucking villain. Heat. He's the villain in that. So, number one, the casting didn't help. And you just see the clues where... What else and who else would it be? Especially when Robert De Niro starts having these flashbacks to a ballroom where he was with his wife and he's looking up and he's looking concerned. Okay, well, it's something to do with him. And there's a reason he can't remember this stuff. What would it be? If it's trying to make it a ghost movie, it failed at that. There's nothing in it that ghostly, supernatural like that's even really hinted at, other than she keeps mentioning Charlie. But it's like, oh, there's a window open. Oh, there's something on the walls saying you didn't save her. Oh, find a dead cat. And Robert De Niro is seeing this crazy shit that maybe the daughter's doing it. And you're thinking, okay, why is this therapist who's your daughter's showing a lot of signs of insanity? Why are you keeping her at this house still? Why after he found the cat dead in the tub, he's like, I'm gonna give her 2 more weeks. 2 weeks? It ain't gonna last 2 hours. Well, you put her in charge. What the fuck? But of course, after the ending, you could attest it to, well, deep down, he knew what was going on, or deep down, the other dissociative personality, how the fuck you want to put it, split personality, however you want to word it with this, made him get rid of logic and just keep her there no matter what. Or maybe I'm giving the movie too much credit for that. But the movie just wasn't scary. It wasn't suspenseful. I don't think it was that atmospheric. And it's just 30 ways Dakota Fanning tries to be creepy. Oh, she takes a beetle and puts a hook in it. When Robert De Niro, her dad is saying, well, we got a live bait. What are you doing? And a lot of times he seems nonplussed by his daughter's behavior. Like, he comments on it, he mentions it. And as you say, as a therapist, he's trying to remain calm. But at the same time, it's still your daughter. But again, maybe Charlie deep down wants him to be calm, whatever. Or again, sees the tub fill up and you let her die written on the walls. Elizabeth Shue is in the film as a neighbor, and her character's name is also called Elizabeth, so how creative is that? And really, she's there to talk a bit with Robert De Niro, and then, spoiler alert, she plays hide and seek with Dakota Fanning, and then gets pushed out a window. There you go. Such a thankless role for Elizabeth Shue. For Adventures of Babysitting and Hollow Man, among other stuff, Back to the Future 2 and 3. Just a very nothing role. And the movie tries to have all these red herrings That's obviously red herrings. Oh, here's a guy who, like at 2 a.m., brings the rest of the keys to the house. And then De Niro goes, bit late for you to bring that, is it? And he's like, well, I thought I could leave them under your door. And I'm like, at 2 a.m. or whatever the hell, 1 a.m.? Like, just trying to make them out of place creepy to give a red herring. Oh, this whole bit with the neighbors where, like, Robert John Burke, yes, Robocop from Robocop 3, who's also in Stephen King's Thinner, he's part of this couple who are neighbors, and you find out they lost a daughter. So that's why Robert John Burke kind of creepily says, you should be... What the hell did he say? Like, you should be glad that you have your daughter. She's the most beautiful thing in the world. Like, I mean, they do this stuff to have these obvious red herrings. And this definitely isn't worth it when you know what's going to happen. You're watching on a rewatch and you just... Like, what is there to be entertained by? I guess if you're diehard, I like Robert De Niro as an actor. I like Dakota Fanning as an actress. But it's just like, just go watch Man on Fire or War of the Worlds. Go watch The Fan or Heat or Goodfellas or a shitload of other... Midnight Run. He's a good guy, but Midnight Run. There's a lot of better movies you'll watch with Robert De Niro. Cape Fear. Go watch Cape Fear. You want to see him as a villain. This just... I would imagine Robert De Niro just did this for a paycheck. I think this is that time where he's like, okay, I'm going to do this film. I'm going to do Godsend. I'm going to do, a few years later, Righteous Kill. And Pacino's in that. That's a fucking shitty movie. God. By that director who I think is a hack of a director, because he did 88 Minutes, which is another awful Al Pacino film. But it's neither here nor there. So it's either lame jump scares like a cat jumping out of a closet, or trying to be scary because Dakota Fanning is acting weird. Or when Elizabeth Shue comes by and has her daughter, that daughter tries to talk to Dakota, and Dakota says, you should be here, and fucked up the girl's doll. And apparently that girl never told her mom, like, hey mom, that guy's daughter, look what she did to my fucking doll. I guess she decided never to tell her mom that. Because people have to act a certain way to fit your parameters of your manipulative story. And when I say manipulative, like I said, you find out at the end that he is Charlie. He murdered his wife because his wife was making out with someone, and that automatically made him crack, I guess, and killed the wife and made it look like she ended herself. And I guess Dakota Fanning knew, but she didn't know if it was Charlie or her dad. Or I don't know what her rationale is, because your imaginary friend looks exactly like your dad. So I guess that's why they made her so weird, to let us know that she's as fucked up as he is. So it's because you have two fucked up people, mentally screwed up people. Thus why this plot has to be the way it is. Because, like, why is she playing hide and seek with Charlie when, like, she knows it's her dad, like, it looks like her dad. I mean, are we trying to... Again, like, you're trying to think about it, and I'm like, why? Why am I even trying to explain it? What's the point? And sadly, like, what other ending would it have been? with the way this movie plays out. If it was the neighbors, it would just seem so out. Still, with the obvious red herring, it still seems so out. No ending would work. That's why this movie has like 5 fucking endings. It's like Godsend, which has like 4 or 5 different endings. Which I'll get to that in a minute. So after a bunch of Robert De Niro looking around or moping or talking with his daughter and oh, the window's open. Oh, a door closed. You know what? I can see subtle thrills and chills in The Changeling with George C. Scott. It's a much better movie than this. That's why we'd rather have Robert De Niro in a movie done, I'm not saying a remake of The Changeling, but done to that style and well thought out, well written, like Robert De Niro in that kind of horror movie. Not just him playing a psycho again that I've seen 15 fucking times, and that's why one of the reasons why it was so damn predictable for the ending. Oh, he's a psycho again. Big surprise. And don't get me started on, like, almost out of the blue, there's this fucking cave that they barely did any job establishing that there's this fucking cave. Maybe I missed it, and so I apologize. Robert De Niro goes back to her room, finds that all these packages are still packed up. He's like, wait a minute, I unpacked this stuff, but he really didn't. So even though he thought he was writing in a book, he was really outside doing stuff, doing other stuff. That's why at one point, Robert De Niro asks Dakota, well, where's Charlie? And she goes, he's sleeping. There you go. So Famke Johnson arrives there. Also, the sheriff gets killed. Because cops are stupid in movies like this. And Famke Johnson is able to follow De Niro. I just followed his voice into the secret magic cave or whatever. She shoots him. And then of the endings, there's like one ending that was in the version I saw. That Dakota's with Famke. She drew a picture. They go away. We look at the picture. And she drew herself with 2 heads. As if she has the same disorder now that her dad does. Apparently there's one ending where she drew a picture and it's a normal picture. There's 1 or 2 of them that you find out she's in a psych ward. So I guess they couldn't pick which one to go with. Sorry for yawning, but this typifies January horror film release. It did come out January of 2005. This fits it. It's predictable, boring, not suspenseful. It's from the director, Swim Fan? Or whoever the hell it was. Rob De Niro, I mean, he's made, for the most part, it's a muted performance. Which, because of De Niro, even a muted performance from De Niro is still fairly decent. Because Robert De Niro just has that acting chops of decades worth. That even material this slim, I don't mind watching him. Dakota Fanning, I think, did the best she could with what she's given. But that's not... Maybe that's enough for other people to enjoy it. That's not enough for me. It's just... You're waiting for something to happen. It's just... Let's say it's not... Especially when you know where it goes. It's just not a fascinating or interesting or Like Jacob's Ladder in 1990, I know where that goes, but it's such a good journey that I could watch it again and again. Not the case with this. I mean, I don't like Secret Window with Johnny Depp, but I would rather watch that than this. Because it felt, even that movie still felt like a bit more happened compared to this. Like, just, you're waiting for the movie to kick up a gear that it never does. Until you get to the ending that you see coming a few miles away and just becomes either. Just comes off as fucking stupid, to be honest. Why? Again, just how convenient that she has to be just as crazy as him, so she views Charlie, even though she could tell it looks the same as her dad, but when she knows it's her dad, she doesn't try to say anything or tell him anything. I'm trying to remember what kind of technology you had in 2005, if there was a way she could, like, record the shit. Hey, Dad, let me show you. You remember doing this? You don't, do you? Or, I know she's a young girl, but you think like she would have fought more to stay at the Institute, fought more to stay with Dr. Johnson, because, I don't know. Fucked up reasonings, whatever. Hide and seek. How about you seek your way next to the fucking graveyard, because this movie Dead and Buried. Please stay dead and buried. Anyway, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.